So Peter, unless you've been living under a rock over the last few years, there's no doubt that the backbone of this country, with the farmers, we're suffering a little bit. How bad is it?
Suffering a lot, and I'm involved with a company called Fodder Solutions from Toowoomba as well. They grow grass in a shed, as I've said a lot of times, not the one the police are interested in, grass for animals. And it's been around for a long time. They finally got it commercially right. In 2007 or 8, there would have been about 7 companies in Australia trying to do it.
Yeah.
But out west, it's horrible. Winton, Roma, I think 75% of the eastern states were in drought last year. And you can drive there for hours upon hours and all you see is dead kangaroos. You don't see any other animals.
And is that a good indication? When you have a look at dead kangaroos, you just go, okay, trucks had nothing to do with that, but that's just the environment, that's the state of the nation.
They're living on the side of the road because that's the only area where there's a little bit of grass.
Right. Peter O, what are they saying out there? What are they saying in the cold face to you?
Look, there's a tremendous human cost with depression and suicide and just the bloody stress that farmers are under. And I'm going to be polite, but the government's useless. They don't, they don't help much if they do at all. Banks are not helpful either.
Geez, you're being polite, aren't you?
Oh, mate.
I can feel it.
You're the best I've ever seen.
Yes.
The politicians were going to, they put out a grant 2 years ago of $135,000 for the farmers. And I said at a meeting in Brisbane that I happened to be attending through a friend of mine, I was only good at sport and maths at school. The only things I was good at. Now, if I'm up to here in debt as a farmer and you give me $135,000, by the time I've paid the accountant to get over the 6 foot of paperwork I have to fill out, and then the banks take what's left, I'm down to here. I'm still up to me neck in debt. But the government then wanted the grant back in 4 years' time. Now,
Doesn't make sense, does it?
They need capital.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about. They need capital to get off the ground. Because in a drought, there's no one left. These farms out there, over a 30-year period, will go through probably 5 or 6 droughts of 3 to 5 years. So 2 generations of people have seen nearly half their time destitute. When I was on our dairy farm, from the age of 7 till 15, we were in drought nearly 75% of that time, the big drought of the late 60s, early 70s. It devastated me family. And then my sister ended up on a dairy farm. You're seeing it, the good thing about Australia, if you want to call it a good thing, somewhere in Australia any day there's a drought. Because in Victoria at the moment, it's as bad as anywhere. Last week they were carting water to animals down there. But we don't mind, we just go to the local grocery shop, don't we, and get our milk.
Get our milk and
feed.
Let me add to that. I was speaking to a potential investor the other day. Now, I've known this lady for 15 years. I don't know her well. I know her well enough to say good day. And I could tell she was crying as I started telling what we're doing. And that's not the reaction you expect. And I said, would you like to share what's going on? And she said, oh, Peter, you don't know, but my uncle committed suicide because the bank was going to repossess their farm. And that just destroyed our family. And that puts shivers down your spine and you become passionate is the bloody word. I'll walk through fire to make this happen, to get these guys back profitable.